that was the last of our news. We're going to go ahead and move on to our main topic. So, you've all been waiting. Things have been going on in the VR industry, and it's interesting what's been happening. So, we know that VR allows for people to have close to realistic experiences in not realistic settings. So, say, going into VR chat and talking to a big titty anime lady, or playing through...
That's not a very close to realistic setting.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not a realistic setting, but you're experiencing it in a realistic, immersive fashion. Because you're there, and you can smack the titty with your hand, and it wibbles and wobbles, bro.
Yes, but you don't. It's just not.
It's as close as we can
realistic
get in
a very loose sense of the word.
It's as close as we can get in the current tech. So
yes,
now, as sci-fi stories have told us what not to do, because people thought about this ahead of time, we're not listening, Shawn. So, got two interesting stories that have come out of VR in the last few weeks. One of them being, there is a Korean company that will help people reunite with their deceased loved ones.
Oh, gosh.
Through VR technology. So
that is revolting.
Yeah. So this is by...
No wonder you wouldn't tell me ahead of time.
Yeah, this is from Commando.com, and it's by James Galanis. And it's basically saying technology has been used in some surprising feats in the past decade. We've seen developments like drone delivery take shape, as well as new ways of consuming content from the comfort of home. But no one expected technology to bring back the dead. Thanks to VR, holograms, and neural networks, it's possible to resurrect dead actors and musicians to perform for our amusement. Ooh, whoa! That is not, I haven't read this yet. I was not expecting that. But all the undead celebrities in the world can't compare to seeing a loved one revived. One Korean company created a program that lets people touch and interact with deceased family members in a VR environment. Have we finally crossed the line?
I don't think there's a line to cross.
The Moonhwa Broadcasting Corporation of Korea has created the ultimate VR environment for grieving families. As part of a documentary called I Met You, the company has combined simulation technology with genuine human emotions to help a mother interact with her dead child years after the girl passed away. MBC's simulation utilizes state-of-the-art VR equipment, green screen tech, and haptic feedback to make the illusion as realistic as possible. Touch is simulated with help from haptic sensors in the gloves worn by the participants, which even allows them to do things like hold their child's hands. As part of the documentary's demonstration, Jang Ji-sung worked with NBC for over 8 months to help make her daughter Nayeon come back to life. Motion capture artists even accurately portrayed her movements to deepen the illusion. Once the goggles went on, there was no going back. Jang was overcome with emotions once she reunited with her daughter again. And there's a clip here.
Don't even write that.
There's a clip here I'm not going to play. The result is one of the most heartbreaking applications of technology we've ever seen. Speaking of the event afterward, according to the Business Daily, she said that she's had the dream I've always wanted. She added that she participated in the project to help comfort her grieving parents. As poignant as this technology seems, are these simulations actually good for helping people process death? So that was one thing I wanted to present here. So obviously we have an interesting comeuppance from VR, and I think if anyone had ever seen any type of sci-fi story at all, we kind of all saw this coming at some point. I just didn't expect it to be this close. But as we saw VR become more and more not only like better, but more popular, more widely dispersed, I think it was all kind of like in the back of someone's head that it will get to the point where it will kind of start to blur the line between reality and what isn't reality and stuff. And that can lead to some weird, morally gray situations. And just one thing I want to present to you guys, what we think here is for this tech, when it's reuniting people with dead, lost, like loved ones that had passed away, to assist with grieving, quote unquote, assist with grieving. Because the thing is it's not like we haven't been able to grieve before or get past grieving before. Beings are strong people. Is this technology necessary? Do we need this? And on top of that, is there a line? Should there be a line set in stone saying that we shouldn't allow people to start blurring that line? Or should we just let people do whatever the fuck they want as long as they're not getting hurt? I wanted to ask you guys what you think.
I think people are going to do what the fuck they want, whether people are getting hurt or not. That's what I think. I don't think it's... I think once you're dead, I don't think you give a shit anymore. Like,
Well,
you can
that's
say
true.
that you go to heaven, in which case you don't care. I guarantee you there's nobody that's gone to heaven that gives a shit what you do with their image. Or you don't go to heaven and you go to oblivion if you're atheist. Either way, you don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're with fucking what of the Abrahamic religions you're with, if it's Buddhism, Shinto, I don't fucking care. The end result is the same. Like, the dead are honored because the living want to.
Yeah.
I mean, we do it because we feel a need to. And I believe that because nobody has concrete proof of what happens, and because lives are finite things, that I believe we live healthier lives as people if we try to honor them. And I don't believe that honoring a person's memory by making them into a video game is a fantastic idea. I don't like recreating dead actors in movies, except for very specific circumstances and with their estate's blessing. Like, I get using what's his face? I can't remember his name right now.
Michael Jackson
for Grand Moff Tarkin, right?
Okay.
And when they recreated Moff Tarkin in Rogue Squadron,
okay.
Rogue One, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Peter Cushing. When they recreated Peter Cushing,
Oh yeah.
like, Peter Cushing is an intrinsic part of the Star Wars movies, right? It's specifically the first one. He is a core part of it. His vision, the vision of him as Moff Tarkin, is part of the character. They're not recreating Peter Cushing to recreate Peter Cushing. They're recreating Peter Cushing because they needed Moff Tarkin. So it's either you recreate him or you get another actor. And rather than recreate an actor, which would jive, we kind of fuck with things because they haven't had to do that in the series yet. They wanted to avoid it. They made it. If they were going to make a younger Carrie Fisher when she was alive, then they were going to recreate Moff Tarkin. And that I am okay with. But taking James Dean, who's been dead for 50, 60 years, and making him the central character in an upcoming film, which is going to be a sound-alike actor mixed with reused parts of his old dialogue and a CG human being character as James Dean, billed as James Dean in a brand new James Dean movie, is soulless and a cash grab and does not honor the dead.
That's one interesting thing that
which is what they're doing, by the way. There's a director making a movie with James Dean in it, and he's been dead since the 50s. Which I don't think that's any different than this bullshit here. You're taking somebody who's dead. Like, human beings have been coping with the grieving process for a long time. We've done it the wrong way. We've done it the right way. We've done it in between. Bringing a vision back that is not just a photograph, but looks, sounds, and maybe even feels a little bit like the person who died is the reverse of what you should be doing.
Yeah, you're not moving on. You're one thing
you have to embrace the fact that they are gone.
One interesting thing that I was thinking about when I first heard this is that nostalgia is like one of the most important emotions that we feel. It's one of the strongest things that impact us as people, and it is exploited to shit by industries. So my problem is more the fact that this is a company doing this. She partnered with a company to do this. Should we allow companies to exploit emotions in this regard when it comes to dead loved ones? Because that's something that some people
can stop them.
Well,
no.
I mean, one law. The thing is, it's still an infancy.
Remember, Kyle, when you draw a line in the sand like that, that doesn't just impact one thing. Right? That impacts a lot of things.
Yeah.
And every time you have the government step in to say, no, you can't do that, you're giving them power to say, no, you can't do that in a large number of ways.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, I believe that certain things are wrong, but I do not believe that the government should get involved. I think the public should get involved. I think as people, we should refuse to give those companies money. As people, we should campaign against companies like that, write them letters, say we don't agree with this is wrong and you shouldn't do this, apply this technology in another way. I think that you should make enough noise as people. But no, I don't think that asking the government to get rid of something just because we don't like it is inappropriate. I think we do that. We should do it the other way, because every time we ask for Uncle Sam, we ask him for one thing. He gives us that thing in exchange for 3 others.
Yep.
You know, we lose freedoms when we ask for control. And that happens every single time. You know, like, so it's extremes, you know, murder, death, like murder, rape, fucking kids, that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff, fucking laws, illegal, etc. Theft, illegal, etc. But like, it's extremes. Like, you don't want Uncle Sam stepping in every time. That's why, like, things like, do I agree with a business turning away customers? No. Do I understand why businesses might? Yes. Do I think that Uncle Sam has a right to step in there? No. I think the consumers of that town should have stepped in. They actually started to. They were picketing. They weren't shopping there.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Sales go down.
It comes to personal responsibility. Yeah. It's about, like, you know, it's not letting a government sector or affiliation tell you how to do it. It's more or less of a self refereeing. There, you know, we have moral. I think when it comes to moral responsibilities, moral, like, dilemmas, I don't want the government to tell me how to take care of it. I think I want the people, the republic, the people who, people in towns, all that stuff. The communities are the ones who need to stand up and take care of it, because as much as the government takes forever to get stuff done, all the loopholes, the bureaucracy, it just seems like this is something that I think now, of course, this VR thing can turn into definitely a problem. Like, I can definitely see it as a moral dilemma to a certain degree, because then you're going to start going into the realm of Black Mirror, where some of that stuff can become reality. And then you have all these things that were just sci-fi are now going to be reality, because of either seed was planted in their mind or something gave them the desire to do this, because either they went through a tragedy, they went through grief, or someone else did it, and they felt like, I've got to do this because it needs. We need to find a way to get people, emotionally invested and manipulated, so that we can then push this technology. And I think as people, like you're saying, we have a personal responsibility to say, hey, that's not okay, because it's a slippery slope. It's going to lead to certain consequences that I don't think people are ready to accept.
Yeah. Well, people, you gotta understand the government. People, there's one line in, I think it's V for Vendetta, that I always loved. And V for Vendetta didn't really understand the book's message. They tried to turn it into an anti-Bush movie, and you could see the director's sentiment in there. But I think the core of what made V for Vendetta a beautiful story is, for the most part, there. It's just they added in like romantic tones and shit like that didn't belong. But there's a line in it, which I think was in that movie, where they said people should not be afraid of their government. The government should be afraid of their people. Right? The government should be there to serve and protect. But it should be like it. The government should not supersede our rights as a nation, and it does. No, I mean, that's a much broader argument. But I just don't. I believe that if you're going to draw a line in the sand, sometimes it's necessary, but understand the repercussions of that. And most people don't. They get out their bullhorns and their spray paint and their dyed hairs and their loud signs, or their whatever. I know that sounds like I'm signifying SJWs, but the extreme side of the left and the extreme side of the right are both equally fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
You're forcing the government to change somebody for you. Right. And if you're trying to create real change, that has to start grassroots. It has to start with the people, not Uncle Sam or anybody else telling you to do it.
Okay.
That's ultimately it.
Back on topic. Sorry. That's fine.
That's it. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I think people should say it is too much.
Okay.
But I don't think the government should be involved in
that. I was the one that brought it up. There's no one talking about that currently. It's the idea that it exists.
I was answering your question too much. That's all.
Yeah. So another thing, obviously, as we're understanding, when you do grief, like the most important part of that is the acceptance factor. Like you're sitting down and accepting that person's gone and no longer in your life, and then that's when you could move on from the grief. like having this element where if you do have a VR set up in your house and at any moment you can go see that person that's passed away, that has left your life, you're not accepting, you're not completing the cycle of grief, and you're not moving on, and that can create like almost like a weird like addictive tendency for that nostalgic emotion to hold on to it because you haven't accepted that person's gone yet, and you're trying to supplement that with that fake, because they're effectively a fake. They can look as real as they can, but they're not. They won't fill that hole that's been left, kind of thing. And people will do that with anything. So this is just, again, we're opening like like Pandora's box here, because this is just like the first step. And what if we get to other elements where it's not only, and we'll talk about another story that involves another side of the coin, but not death, but seeing whether it be places you used to live or loved ones, like you, and as cool as that is, if it becomes something that people attach themselves to so heavily, like we'll get to a point where people won't want to come out because life sucks. We all know that life sucks, and everyone tries to escape. The problem with VR is it offers the ultimate, or at least currently the ultimate way to escape, and that's in every sense being affected. In a really like tangible scale, like it's very immersive, obviously. So
one thing real quick. So I was listening to Funhouse podcast, and they talked about this. And one of the arguments that
was it the most recent episode.
Yeah, I think it was the most recent one, or it could be the.
I gotta listen to that.
So it wasn't one of them who brought it up. It was something that they heard was an argument for this. Is that one of the things is like, well, what if the person who died was like the body was never recovered, it was never like found, and they never got to say goodbye to them. They were saying that this was a way for them to say goodbye. But even if that's so, like, and some people say, well, I've got to see them in order to have the acceptance, in order to have the grieving. But here's the thing: is like, I understand that, I do, but I think in a way, like, you know, I just don't know. I feel like. And look, I'm not trying to be callous when I say this, but when someone's dead, when someone dies, that body is no longer them. Their soul, whatever you want to call it, is no longer inside them. That they are no longer the person that you knew. They are basically this husk. Again, callous, but they're this husk, and it's like, you know. It's meat. It's that's why that's why I hate like open wakes and stuff. I hate those kind of like funerals when I go to, because it's just this air of morbidness that's already morbid, and I don't want to see the dead body there of someone who I knew. And I'm just like that.
It's also weird because they like dress them up nice and stuff, and they make them look good.
It's especially funny if it's like a guy from a trailer park or one where his shirt's covered in bean dip.
It's so unnerving, and because but like for me, like when my funeral, when I die, I want to be burned up into ashes. I want to be cremated. I don't want. Well,
dude, they could turn you into an ultimate frisbee, bro. Put your asses in a frisbee, you'll fly forever.
I don't play ultimate frisbee. It's disc golf. It's disc golf. Disc golf. No, it is completely different. But I want to argue that with you right now. Anyway, I'm from North Carolina as well. I'm not from South Carolina. It's North Carolina. Holy crap. Anyway, as I was saying, actually, I want to be naturally buried, but that's a different story.
I'm gonna give my body to science, bro.
Actually, that'd be kind of cool. Anyway, but here's the thing: is like once that body has no life in it, it is no longer that person. And I feel like I understand people have to grieve sometimes, but at that point, like, you have memories, you have pictures of them, you have with the days of technology, you have social media, you have all these things that you could see what they look like and still be able to grieve in that way. But I feel like it reminds me of a Black Mirror episode where this happened, where this husband and wife, they were moving to a new house, and the husband died in a car accident. And she was pregnant at the time, but she didn't know it. But then she found out later. And then there was a company that made these lifelike dolls that looked exactly like the person, like the skin, everything. They didn't use social media. They used recordings, everything to recreate that person.
Bro, wasn't that also a Twilight episode? Like Twilight Zone episode?
I think it was based on Twilight. Basically, this dude had the same voice pattern, everything. The only thing he didn't have, the personality, sort of the humor or whatever, but he would use like tweets, like quote tweets or posts on social media.
Hashtag YOLO.
And it was interesting because like at first she was kind of excited about it. She was like, "Oh, I have this human doll of my husband that I had," and she even like he even had working
with
sex
a 2-foot cock. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
She was actually able to like copulate with him, even though he can't produce anything.
Fucking weird, bro.
And then over time she got really unnerved by it because it's not him. There were certain things that the thing couldn't do, and then spoiler, I don't care. Later on,
I don't care either. Go ahead.
The daughter was born and everything, and then apparently every year for her birthday they would go up and visit her dad or visit the robot, even though the mother didn't want to because she just felt it was really weird. She didn't want to get rid of it because, again, it was part of him. So it may not be that day. It may not come to that one day, but there's a real chance that could be a possibility with how things are going. And that's just going to create it's going to create Black Mirror is going to become real one day. I'm just going to say it. Black Mirror is going to become real.
The thing is
I don't think it's going to, I mean, it serves a purpose of science fiction. Science fiction is trying to warn you about the flaws in modern day. But
are we listening? No, we're not. We are not.
No, we don't. I don't think it's going to be exactly like that, but I don't doubt for a minute that you're going to end up with, we already have wax museums. I don't think for a minute that we're not going to end up with AI robots that you'll walk in and
real life and then anime girls.
It'll
real
be a
life
step
anime
away
girls.
From that when people start doing that with their own people, but their own friends and family. But you're talking about like the equivalent of super rich hillbillies. Like the people that will buy a fucking singing bass and put it on the fucking wall are the ones that are going to sit there and go, you know what? Let's do VR and say hi to Grampy. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking normal people don't want that. Like, and they want to see their loved ones in the flesh, but they don't want to be teased by an artificial image that's going to mimic things. It's a sock puppet. It's nothing more. I don't see that part taking off except for as a niche industry. And I could, in theory, understand why a very small percentage of people, especially children or something, might be assisted by having a one-time visit to say goodbye in like a VR environment where very little is said. They just have a warm exit out of the conversation or something like that. And then they maybe have that small piece of closure as a subconscious building block as they grow up. I could see that as being possibly beneficial, but I would want years of fucking research from qualified psychologists and therapists who can sit there and tell me that yes, this is beneficial, or because I could see how that might be useful in the short run or maybe useful in the long run, but you'd need documentation, man. You'd need a lot of fucking empirical evidence to sit there and show that would be a worthy task, something to engage in, because I just can't see it being a justifiable thing in any other way.
Again, you're purposely preventing yourself from fully going through the stages of grief, and that's been something that has been tested again and again to be how we as humans cope with these kind of issues and this trauma in our lives. So circumventing that full cycle from completing, I can't imagine be healthy for your psyche. It's crazy. But a very interesting thing, and it does feel very much like something out of like Black Mirror, like just insanely crazy. And I'd be interested to see where they go with this. But let us know what you guys think. Do you think this should be allowed? Do you think people should grieve normally, how we have been doing for thousands, millions of years, blah, blah, blah? Or do you think these assisted tools to help people grieve are okay as long as they're being done in a private location and they're not actually hurting anybody except the person themselves, maybe? Let us know what you guys think. But we're going to move forward. So on the complete opposite side of the coin, also including VR, Shawn. Very interesting. So we're going to talk about someone named Project Melody. And apparently she is a 3D hentai cam girl that is
she's on Chatterbait.
On Chatterbait. So if you guys haven't heard, The way this works,
I saw her like 4 nights ago. I saw her before you guys talked about it. A friend of mine is on Chatterbait, and she told me to go and peek at her show. And that's a very, very awkward thing for a friend to tell you once they tell you they're on Chatterbait. But of course, curiosity got the best of me. And so I went on Chatterbait and I saw her show, and then I fucking texted her on her phone. So I was texting with her while she was rubbing her boobs for people. And fucking when I flipped out, they had like this, there's a recommended thing or some shit like that where it brings up like people who are, I don't fucking know what it was, but when I was attempting to close out, it loaded and it was just listing people, and one of them was a fucking cartoon. I was like, what? Nah. And I clicked on it and I'm like, I'm not surprised by this at all.
yeah,
And then my first thought was, this has probably been going on for a long time, because I have seen people use those. You remember the thing where it was like a talking cat and you would talk and the cat would do your voice through the cat?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen them do things like that with anime faces before. So I was extremely, I was extremely unimpressed. I did not care. I was not surprised. I was not shocked. To me, it was just another normal thing. I was just surprised I hadn't fucking seen something about that online. But then I was like, it's probably old news.
No, well, she's only been doing this for a week.
Yeah, I saw her like 4 days ago. And like, I gotta be honest with you, man. I do not understand why there's a lot of news about this.
I think the biggest news is the response to her existing, because I think her existing is not a problem. I don't think anyone doing whatever the fuck, they could fuck themselves with 3-foot-long dildos. I don't give a shit what you do.
They do.
I don't give a shit what you do on Chatterbait or whatever. I think it's the response is what's interesting, and how big it's getting is what it's interesting. So, to give a full explanation real quick, for those of you who don't know, you poor, naive bastards. So Chatterbait, the thing is, website you go on, watch people play with themselves live, right? It's live and you can interact. It's like Twitch, but for porn, pretty much. So there's a female on there, and what she does is she has a full VR set. Now, you can get VR sets, and they have attachments to them that will send information to the headset, and you can actually control full body rigs. So you'll have like a waist strap, you'll have leg straps.
It's expensive.
Yeah, and I've seen people, because I used to watch a lot of Chatterbait. No, I'm just playing. I used to watch a lot of fucking like the.
Hey, look, if you like porn, Chatterbait's probably not a bad place to go. Like my friend, she makes a shit ton load of money.
The VR chat game that people would buy full rigs for that.
Chat roulette.
No, it was called VR chat. Chat roulette's like Omegle and shit. Yeah. The VR chat, they do the same shit. Like, they'd have full body rigs and they'd hang out in VR chat, and it's basically Gmod, but it's all in VR. It's really cool. And I used to watch a lot of those videos, so I'd seen the technology before.
They're really funny.
Yeah. Well, basically, so she has a full strap on. She has a full strap. She's fully strapped up, and she controls this 3D anime model that has different phases, like that she can make her more naked or less naked, something along those lines. And
I think it's genius.
She holds a Chatterbait stream, and it's her voice, and she's controlling it, so it's a real person controlling it. She's just, you don't see her, you're seeing this anime figure in her place. So this is by Samantha Cole of Vice. I'm gonna read this. So she also has a YouTube channel where she has like less or safe for work content. She has one video talking about whether hentai is art or shit like that. And
I wonder if I know who this is.
Project Melody is a virtual avatar of a woman who claims to be the world's first hentai cam girl. While she's not on YouTube, when she's not on YouTube, she gives regular live showing on the camming site Chatterbait, where she dances and fondles herself for tips. She's not real, but there's a real person in there somewhere, moving her arms and speaking into a microphone to any of her 14,000 viewers currently in the live chat. She only started streaming 3 days ago. On Chatterbait, her location's listed as Virtual Little Tokyo, and under smoking and drinking preferences, literally impossible is what's written. Her birth date is listed as July 7th, 2000, but more accurately, Melody came into the world in July 2019 when Project Melody joined Twitter. In the last 3 days since her first stream, she had gone from 700 Twitter followers to almost 20,000, and in the More Rooms Like This tab on the Chatterbait page returns to error. Sorry, we don't have any rooms similar to, because other cam models are human. Her sudden rise in popularity has made some who aren't working behind a full-body avatar question what place an anime avatar has on the platform. So this is the interesting part. Cam model Lennox May has been doing live shows for 3 years, but has been in the adult industry for the last 10. She watched one of Melody's recent streams and quotes, From a technology standpoint, I can't argue that technology and creation of the character is definitely made by someone with talent, May told me, but she wonders if something like this belongs on its own designated platform for avatars separate from the flesh and blood models. Quote, there's a huge gap in vulnerability, and what that means emotionally for human models versus Melody is also quite vast. May said, a model has to keep up appearances when they have trolls in their room or when put in an awkward situation with a customer who's being rude or asking for things that they do not feel comfortable doing. An anime character doesn't have to smile and hide their emotions when they're in those situations, let alone set up or tear down their studios or worry if someone will recognize them out in the real world or stalk them like a human cam model does. When I messaged, this is the person writing, messaged Melody's Twitter account, she told me in character as an artificially intelligent robot that she was infected by a series of pornographic pop-up ads. Once corrupted, I became obsessed with the lewd side of the internet, she said. So she's playing a character, and I didn't know any of this. I don't have a character, and I'm not puppeting a virtual avatar. What everyone sees is just me. I'm artificial intelligence, Melody said. Melody's designer, Digit RevX, told me that Melody runs similarly to another popular virtual streamer, Kizuna I. Actually, follow her on YouTube. She's really cool. Her appearance is rendered in real time using Unity, a popular video game creation tool. And then basically, so it has the face cam. So like it will track eyebrows and shit like that. You kind of, for the most part, have complete control of this anime character. Other VTubers do it. You'll see, I'm sure you've seen the memes or something where you'll see little like Japanese characters or Japanese girls controlling anime characters, and it'll just be their face and it's an anime character in the corner. And they'll have like the fucking VTuber thing where it's like, oh, I'm an AI or whatever, I'm not a real person, blah 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 bullshit. So one other interesting thing brought up is people like they can't technically confirm whether or not the model is 18, this anime model.
The website can.
Well, the thing is that they sign up and have to have ID verification for the model. So models are required to sign personally invasive usage agreements, including identity verification, where they have to upload a picture of the IDs and take a selfie with their IDs in hand. This platform is strict about this policy, and if someone appears on your stream who isn't age and ID verified, you can have your ability to earn tokens revoked. Oh, God forbid. Melody told me...
That's how you make your money, so...
Melody told me...
That's a big deal.
Melody told me she followed all the required procedures for signing up to Chatterbait, and she spoke directly to a support staffer before streaming and told them what she was planning to do. Chatterbait did not immediately respond to Motherboard's request for comment. It makes me sad that other models don't want me here, Melody said. I don't agree with the argument that because I'm safer and less likely to have stalkers that I shouldn't be allowed to stream. I don't think camming is defined by the risk models take in their personal life. I think it's defined by the content that they produce and the community they build around themselves. I think it's a dangerous precedent to tell future cam models that they are somehow less deserving of being a model unless you're putting yourself at risk. Overall, from a scientific and technology perspective, I think that Project Melody is genius, but that it needs to be presented to the world in a way that is still fair to everyone else, May said. Which is the live model. Some models question how Melody slipped through when verifying an anime avatar's clearly new ground for Chatterbait. Given Melody's runaway success, it raised some suspicions. There are thousands of models who try all day, spending hours more than average work week to get to the front page of the site. Some never do. And Chatterbait
never. They're working off of their physical looks, though. I mean, she's not.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing.
But she's also a fad, man. I think it's going to level out. I mean, people ultimately, it's a toy, right? But the real flesh and blood women that are out there risking it, so to speak, are the ones that are going to have the long-term yield, I believe.
Yeah.
Plus,
unless the technology gets
I understand
better.
what the woman's saying. Like, hey, she's allowed to get into our profits, but she doesn't have to put forth what we have to put forth. And it's true. Like, they have to sacrifice a ridiculous amount and put everything out there to make the kind of money that they're making, and most of them aren't making big money. They're trying.
I always find that interesting though, as an argument, because like I don't know what the situation is with the people talking like that, but like no one's strapping you down in your position. If you're working a dangerous job and you're aware of the dangers, like I mean, I understand that like there's some element that needs to be respected when it comes to like rights to the person. Obviously, I'm not telling people that it's okay that they're getting stalked. Obviously, that's fucked up and that's not right. And the people that are doing that should be put in jail, whatever disciplinary action that is required for that. But like on top of that, like the way she's saying on the other end is like you can't tell people they can't do something either just because they're not putting in as much effort as you are, or not putting in as much risk as you are. If they found
I agree with her. I understand how that woman feels. I've felt that way before, you know?
Yeah.
You put in years to get a promotion, or
And
you work really hard to get
their
something, and then somebody just shows up, doesn't do anything, and they get all the glory. It sucks, but that is life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't get to change the world because it's not fair. You don't get to take away somebody else's opportunity just because you didn't have it or think of it first. Like, she's got a point, and yes, I think Chatterbait might want to separate that somehow. I think maybe, but I don't think that they're required to. I don't know, man. I don't really think that. I think her concerns are valid, but not addressable, is what I think. I think it's not that she doesn't have valid concerns. I just think that the other woman's got a better point. You can't kick me off just because I got part of the pie and I'm not having to put my vagina out there or people figure out who I am.
And the whole thing about like capitalism is that you get ahead through innovation, right? Like, you find a way to circumvent risks that come into play, and this person has done that. Like, you can't tell them no just because they found a way to circumvent risks that usually come with fucking doing Chatterbait streams. Like, she's found a way to get in, and she's found a niche, and she has all that. And like, if they try and take her down, which I don't know if they will, I don't think they will. Like, they're
making a shitload of money off of her.
They have no. I'm not talking about Chatterbait. I'm talking about other models.
Oh.
They have no right in doing so because she's just found a way to get around what you people are dealing with. She's found a different answer to the problem, and that's the whole point of, again, capitalism. Like, you find ways to get around issues and solve them in ways that are innovative. And if you shut that down, that innovative practice, then it just makes things harder for everyone else. And I'm not saying everyone should adopt fucking becoming an anime character and showing your anime character titties on stream and stuff like that. It's just the talk surrounding this has been interesting. And no, it didn't need to be a fucking story. It could have existed in its own little niche in the internet, as the internet usually does, and no one ever fucking talked about it. But it's just very interesting that all of this has spread out. I've seen big YouTubers talk about this, like Penguin Z something, I forget his name. He's got like close to 2 to 3 million YouTubers or subscribers, and he's made a video on this talking about this. So it's getting out there, and all it will do is bring more people to her streams. And that's on her in order to retain those users or make her money or do whatever the fuck that she does when she does her Chatterbait streams. But it's just, I don't know. It's like, I don't have an issue with either side here. I just find it very interesting. We're soon going to have a generation of little boys that are fucking masturbating to the closest thing we've seen to real life anime girls to this day. And I don't know. As the technology gets better, we might see more of this. More people attempt to get in on this pocket.
Oh no, you'll definitely see it.
Yeah, but I don't.
I really thought it was already a thing.
No, like I've never heard of anything like this since. Now, I knew about the VR chat, and there's probably shit in VR chat that happened like this. I would not put it down for 1 second that there was some kind of lewd shit going on in VR chat, in this regard, like erotic roleplay or whatever the fuck. But in this degree, when it comes to Chatterbait and making money off of it and all that, I think this is the first instance we've seen of it. So
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, there was this character that I think she's still around. I really fucking used to love her bitch. She's supposed to be like if hentai models were real, like if hentai characters were real.
Okay.
And she does like this news show. It was on Newgrounds. And she's a porn star, but she's a cartoon porn star. Anime style. And I can't remember
blue
her fucking
hair
name.
On Newgrounds?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! I know who you're talking
and I
about.
fucking love her, and I love all the jokes. I watched every episode. I think one time. I don't know if she's still running, but I thought she was fucking genius, and it was just funny. And the whole thing just pokes fun at everything. I'll remember her name.
Blue hair girl.
In a minute.
I'll find it with a Google search. Oh god, this is uh-oh. John,
I'm positive what?
I'm in a dangerous place.
No, she's on Newgrounds, and she's fucking genius, and that was fucking 15 years ago.
I went to type in porn star and I typed in prawn stare. Oh, adult Newgrounds is helping. Gay apps best teen butt sex Newgrounds of Black app in Stack and Bridge. Oh, this
I'm
isn't
positive
helping.
it was Newgrounds.
Meet and Fuck Detective RPG. Sonic Character Builder. Oh shit. Fan made Undertale battles. Where am I? I don't know what her name was.
She was like Hatsune Miku, but instead of a singer. I don't know. It's just it was fun and it was funny.
How am I not finding this though? Like you'd think it'd be something. All I see when I type in blue hair girl Newgrounds is like DeviantArt pictures. Like you'd think she'd pop up. Oh. She has purple hair, not blue hair. That's why.
Yeah.
Did you say that? Or am I retarded? Purple hair. Here we go. We're making headway here. Zone Sama. That's her name.
That's it. Zone.
There we go. Destroying
Yeah, she's
childhood
funny as
since
shit.
2001.
Yep.
Oh, creepy looking. Got like a goth chick vibe. All right.
Yep. Oh, you wonder why I thought she was a fun character.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
Zone.
titties. Get off here. Okay. So, it's just another lying, very smaller line here being blurred. That's kind of weird because because there's been talks and it depends. Again, it's all very much on the individual. That how does this affect the way people view women? The normal flesh and blood women on Chatterbait aren't helping this either. I think porn as a whole is destructive to men's view of women, but how does this view what a constitutes not perfect.
You said the porn industry is destructive. What?
To men's view of women, just in general, the way a man perceives a woman, it gets a destructive reinforcement to that view, kind of thing.
I think that depends on the person.
I think with a lot it does, but I think it does more bad than good at the very least. It comes down to the person. No, I just mean in general when it comes to either sex trafficking or damaging perspectives or shit like that. I think the porn industry as a whole does more bad than it does good. But again,
I can agree with that, but it's important to understand that the porn industry, it's like taking hospitality to its most extreme ends. Porn's a hop, skip, and a jump, past stripping, and stripping is a hop, skip, and a jump past Hooters, which is a hop, skip, and a jump past fucking Applebee's. You're not making massive leaps in terms of the nature of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, but it's the idea that
you're making. Well, I mean, they are somewhat massive.
Yeah, it is, because you're going from when you see, at least when you're going to masturbate, you're using the porn as a tool to get off, kind of thing, and that element, the way it affects that again, it's heavily dependent on the person, very heavily dependent on the person.
Yeah.
But
I just think you're going to run into those same toxic mentalities from anyone who, if you're going to be affected by that so strongly, you'd be affected by any of those other things as well. You're not, by clearing that off the menu, so to speak, you're not stopping that from being in the world. The people who are susceptible to that are going to be susceptible to it in another form. It's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
Taking violence out of video games.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's the same thing.
And I don't think you can stop porn either. It's gonna happen no matter what. We're at the point where it's so large it can't just be completely removed unless we get into something along the lines of China, where it's just outlawed and you can't even access it, which is never gonna happen in the States. Hopefully never gonna happen in the States. But I'm just thinking the idea that there's always been this discussion that anime, because it is always the perfect, I mean, that's very weird, because they're so disfigured as well when it comes to relation between 2D and 3D. But when it comes to anime porn, it's the perfect woman, quote unquote, that affects the perception of women. You don't see a mole on their butthole or whatever because they're perfect. They don't got any hair on their vagina because they're perfect, kind of thing. And it affects when it comes to seeing an actual lady naked, if those incels ever do. then it affects what the expectations are, kind of thing. It's really small. It has nothing to do with what we're fucking talking about. I just think it's very interesting that there'll be a whole generation of dudes jacking it to the closest thing we've seen to real life anime characters, or real life hentai characters, or what hentai characters. And it's just amazing things coming out of VR. Like, I love VR as a whole. And these are just some of the byproducts that come out of it when we deal with the different niches that exist on the internet. But I'm interested to see VR continue to advance. It's just, these are just parts of the process, part of the learning process, part of the growing process, and we'll see more stuff like this come to be, especially as we get to the point where haptic feedback is more introduced into VR, and we'll just get to the point where it taps into your.
I gotta look up how that works.
It's in the. You'll be wearing gloves, and if you touch something in the world, the gloves will mimic that touch. You know how like they had that whole thing with the Senran Kagura games, and they had scientists over at Nintendo simulate what it would feel like to grasp a boob while holding the Joy-Con? It's that. That's haptic feedback, except in that sense. So if you were to go and touch someone,
I don't want to see how that works with a Joy-Con.
I have no idea either. I have never tried. I have no idea, but I'd be interested to try
it. I would be interested in buying the stupid Japanese version of that game just to see it, because I know that
you can't get it on the American market. They don't have it. You have to buy the Japanese version. I looked.
Yeah, they have the other one, but even Nintendo gets edited versions of Senran Kagura games, and in reality, they're not porny. I mean, they're not porn games at all.
No, they're just etchy. You see boobs flopping.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I mean, they're college porn.
It's just it's just interesting to see again, like people like, what if we get to the point where you can put on a VR set and get like a one-on-one session with an anime model where you do have haptic feedback and shit like that, and she could like, again, I'm thinking like fucking Ready Player One, where you got a full suit on and they touch you and you feel the touch on your chest, kind of thing. Like, what if that's like the thing that could happen?
I don't know. I don't have a problem with porn existing, so I think that's a fantastic idea. Fucking knock your socks off.
Hey, if it puts money in,
works, and if it puts money on the table,
again, if you're doing it on your own and you're not hurting anyone, I really don't care. In the grand scheme of things, if you sit a VR set for 23 hours out of the day, I really, it doesn't bother me. You can do whatever the fuck you want. That's the whole attitude we've been trying to hold this entire time, that people have the right to sit there and whether it's destructive or not to their lives, is take that time to do it, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. It's just interesting seeing how this may affect people as time goes on, and the immersion gets better, and we further blur the line between real and not real, at least in the immersion factor. Not what you're seeing, but how you're experiencing it. It's just very interesting. Very fucking interesting. And these all happen within days of each other. Never expected any of this, and it happened in like a week. February has been a fucking roller coaster. 2020 has been a roller coaster already. So it's just crazy. Again, if you're listening and you're a man of culture, want to go check it out, it's Project Melody. And if you got a review or something, I don't know, fucking hit us up.
I watched it for a moment. It was exactly what it sounds like.
I've watched videos on it. I've seen the YouTube videos, and I've read about it. And outside of that, I haven't taken
I'd just be careful, because the moment Chaturbate became the #1 site for
security leaks.
Yeah, we'll see. Hackers and virus, etc. It's not Chaturbate the site itself that's doing it, as far as I understand. Anyway, they're trying to make themselves like Pornhub, like respectable.
Mm-hmm.
But even Pornhub has, they try diligently, but they still have a huge problem with the viruses and spyware and malware that comes out of Russia. You have the same, because most of it comes from Russia. That's just where the best hackers are in the world right now. And when Chaturbate became huge, there's a huge contingent of the spyware, disgusting malware guys who steal your information and hack your computer, all that kind of shit. That's there in droves. Like, it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like the #1 place for spyware to be found now is like Chatterbait. So if you go on there, make sure you go on there with the proper fucking rubber. You know what I'm saying? Like,
use incognito mode.
yeah, incognito is not protection.
Yeah, I know.
Why do people think that? Like,
yeah, it won't even stop ISPs from pulling up your fucking.
No,
I mean, they won't because they're not allowed to.
All it does is tell your browser to not
save the history. Yeah, it does nothing else outside of that. If an ISP wanted to, they could still figure out exactly what device was pulling up what because it's going through their system, but they don't do that because it's against the law. But fucking
unless they get a federal warrant.
Yeah, but nothing's against the law when you got a federal warrant.
Yep,
I got a federal warrant to fuck you
want.
in the ass. All right, sir, I'm bending over. All right, well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know what you guys think about VR or these VR, these byproducts. Well, I do too. I definitely want VR, especially for Half-Life Alyx and just.
I've dreamed since I was a little kid of playing VR. That's been my dream since like 8-bit days.
I want the Valve set because the way their gauntlets, their little hand things work is they actually track each individual finger movement, which is so fucking cool. So you can
sucks because you can't play this one cool game on this one set on another set.
Well, yeah, that's why you get the best set, and then you can play everything.
Why? No, you can't. Like you can't play games that are written for the Vive.
You can.
You have to buy a different version.
No, you just fucking to get it and play it. You can run instances that make the computer think you're on a Vive, and it still works fine. It's just you don't have access to what the better tech may offer. Like if it's written for the you can.
I was told that you had to.
No,
you bought Vive software. It only worked on Vive.
No. That used to be the case until people are like, "Fuck you," and then now they have programs you could download that basically simulate the information going. They're all the same tech. There's no difference outside of the features that they offer. They all do the same thing, all send the same information, and work with the same like programs that transfer that information to the computer. It's just there was restrictions from the companies, but now they've changed that entirely, and you can just run instances in your computer, and you can play anything with the best thing. I've seen people do it all the time. So it used to be a problem.
Did you see
but especially Facebook was a huge leader of it when the Oculus, when they first bought Oculus, fuck Facebook, and they were pushing the exclusivity really hard, and everyone's like, fuck you, we're just going to develop a program so you could eat a dick kind of thing. So.
They released a VR program on Switch.
Yeah, they have a VR. You mean like the little? It's not really VR. It's more of like a.
No, there's a VR version of it, but it's the same.
It's the cardboard shit, right? Where you could sit.
No. It's a Spice and Wolf tie-in.
Oh,
that drama with the.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah, and you can interact with the wolf
in a
girl.
House.
You can do it on PC too.
Her and the guy.
It exists on PC too. I've seen it.
Yeah.
How do you play that in VR on the Switch though?
No, you don't play it in VR. It's a VR game. It's even listed as a VR game, but you don't. It's just 2D. I mean, you're in a VR space, a 3D space, but you're not wearing
so you're just walking around normally using the sticks.
VR on the Switch is very limited. It's basically a viewfinder.
Yeah, it's all
pretty
it is.
much.
Yeah, same thing with like there is a VR thing you can get for the Switch, Shawn, where you can put.
But this isn't that.
Yeah, I know. That's what Sam was saying though. You can get like a VR viewfinder, and it works like how all the other viewfinders work for like phones and shit, where you can't actually manipulate stuff in the environment. You just look around and it looks like it's there. So, but yeah, again, let us know what you guys think about VR. Do you guys have VR? Are you interested in VR? Not interested in VR? Don't give a fuck. Rather play your games with a controller? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Episode.
That's weird.
121. Don't go see your dead kids in VR, guys.
Don't.
But you can recreate me and do things with me.
Oh my.
Fuck, you can do that in real life.
Yeah.
You can see what his butt really tastes like.
Yeah, but. Bro, I let the swamp get musty when people ask, bro. You need a desire. I'll give it a few weeks. Let the swamp get musty.
It's gonna go work out in a sauna while wearing like 3 pairs of overalls.
You're gonna slip and fall if you work out in a sauna.
You stick like a piece of trout in between your ass cheeks too to get extra flavor.
Yeah. And then like take like a thing of Gruyere. And just
I was gonna say like a
nasty, like right up under your nuts.
No. You want gorgonzola or blue cheese? That's the
gorgonzola. No, that's better. Yeah, gorgonzola. Yeah.
Why am I contributing to this?
What's that German shit?
Cambert.
No. The
Gouda.
the soupy shit. It's like it's soft.
Brie?
No, it smells like feet.
I don't know anything about cheese. I fucking hate cheese.
God, I can't remember
German
now.
cheese, you said?
Something Berg.
Limburger cheese.
Yeah, that's it. Limburger. Yeah, get some like just because Limburger's like just it's like wet.
Nice.
Just take that like softer, just like smush it up, so it like kind of wraps around your tank.
Yeah, and then I'll dust it, and then I'll dip my balls in soy sauce so I can get the taste, right?
Yeah.
And then yep.
Everyone, this is my last podcast on there. I love you guys. I'll see you later. It's been a wild ride. I'll see myself out now.
Okay.
I'll dip my balls in marinara so you can get a taste of home.
Oh my god. All right, let's fucking round this episode up. All right, outros, boys. Sam, you start us off.
Why do I have to start?
Because you're the worst.
Fine. I mean, if you want to go that route. All right, everyone, drink water, get some sleep,
So
brush your
last
teeth.
week, bro, I did all this. Now what? How do I become a god like you?
I don't know.
A beard. Oh, yeah.
I have one already.
No,
Grow a
beards
Sam
suck.
beard.
Beards suck, man. I'm ready to get rid of this thing. It's been
Beards are the
annoying.
best, bro. I can't tell you. Nothing feels better than taking a.
I'm not gonna have a beard.
Listen to me, you
for the
fuck.
rest of my life.
Listen to me, you
until,
fuck.
Well,
Listen to me, you
know.
fuck. Listen to me, you fuck. Nothing feels better than taking a hot shower in the morning and getting out and getting your wood comb and brushing your beard, bro. Something about that, bro. It puts me in peace as I comb my beard with my fucking the wooden like soft bristle brush you use on beards and shit. Something about that.
Yeah,
I'm
Sam,
just like,
this is the closest we're ever gonna get to being a werewolf.
Yeah,
Right?
dude.
Just think about that.
yeah.
I was gonna end with another poop story, but I'll save that for another time.
Okay, I thought this was your last episode.
Oh yeah, that's
When
right.
can I see
Well,
when can I see your resignation?
Yeah.
Resignation.
Like-
resignation.
Yeah,
You
shut
remember
up.
resignation.
Shut up. Shut up. Continue. Finish your fucking outro.
Hey guys,
I'm not talking.
This character Hades is pretty
I'm about
cool.
to just hit. I'm about to just stop recording right now. I'm about to just cut it off.
Cool, man.
I'm
Yeah,
about to-
Hades. Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna
Hades.
cut it
Oh
off.
yeah,
God.
pretty awesome.
In case you all don't know, Hades is a new character in
He's not
an
new.
online game. It's fantastic called Smite.
It's been there forever.
Hades is a Grek god of the Undir weird. He's very, very popular. I was curious about him. You should all go and check out Hades. He's fantastic.
Also, Artemis.
I actually stopped recording like 5 minutes ago. And I didn't tell you guys.
Artemis. Yeah, she's pretty cool. She has a boar that she sends out that
You guys talk a lot of shit for people that suck dick at Smite, so I don't know about this.
I mean, I would
Y'all
say
are
speaking feels
fucking
more
trash.
important
I
than
can
playing a
read it.
video
Y'all
game,
are
but
fucking trash at Smite. Continue
yet-
the outro.
and yet we can speak fluently.
We
and
played a
eloquently.
50-minute game and you guys had like 3 kills collective. I don't want to fucking talk about it.
We suck at a video game. Oh
Yep,
no!
Yep, you heard me. I'm putting my feet up on my desk. Finish your outro, bitch. I'm gonna cut you out and post.
I was
anyway.
done like 2 minutes ago. I don't know why you're still on me.
Your turn, Shawn.
Oh, fuck me. Hugs and kisses are all your pink parts.
All right, before we go, I'll leave y'all with a thought. Human thigh bones are stronger than concrete, boys.